welcome back to 10 o'clock live. Now, it was reported this week that the UK economy has suffered negative growth and there's danger of a double-dip recession, whatever that is. To tell us what it means and what we should do about it is the Financial Times undercover economist. Used to work for the World Bank, now he works fast. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Harford. Tim Harford, There's been a lot of economics in the news, as there always is. This week, George Osborne blamed the weather for the bad economy. Is that... I mean, I've never heard anything more British than that.
It does sound quite lame, doesn't it?
Is it the weather's fault? Is that why we've not grown?
I mean, it was a bit the weather, but it's not as if we get a kind of voucher, you know, compensating us for the weather. I mean, it did damage the economy. If you're trying to, you know, build something, construction, you're trying to get around, the snow gets in the way. But it was still worse than expected. So...
Well, but it was 0.5%. I don't know if anyone else saw this news, so the economy has shrunk
by 0.5%.
0.5%.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound that bad. Am I being naive?
Well, we normally hope it would grow. If it wasn't for the weather, it would have been flat. So it would have been 0% growth.
So no growth. So
no growth.
Another way to say that is exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that not things are fine?
Yeah, well, the problem is, well, it doesn't sound like a problem. People are always working out better ways to make things, better ways to do things. You get new technologies, new computers, better phones. And so people generally tend to be more productive. They make more per hour. So that means you would expect the economy to always be growing. And if it's not growing, if it's shrinking or if it's flat, that means one of two things. Either it means everyone's taking a 3-day weekend, which would be good, or...
Yes, that would be
That would be good.
Did you hear that in the studio? People just went, yeah, what?
Or it means lots of people are losing their jobs. Now, unfortunately, we just haven't seemed to figure out the 3-day weekend thing, and we seem to just do the losing jobs thing instead.
OK, so that's the big economic picture. Now, we're all individuals. What do we do about it? What can we do about this recession if it is a double dip?
Well, it depends what you mean by the we, because...
Successful TV presenters. No, I mean, you know, generally, like, let's say you're a student, let's say you've got a mortgage.
Actually,
what's a smart move?
There's an important point here, because when you see the news, it's all about the we, it's all about how the country's doing as a whole. But if you actually break it down, you find that whether the economy's doing well or doing badly, there are always individuals who are doing extremely well. There are always individuals who are doing extremely badly. So, you know, what you should do, you're fine, Jimmy. Other people are not so good. So that... You've got to sort of understand...
What should they do? I mean, the students, I think, have been particularly hard hit this week, so it's the worst time since 1995 to be graduating as a student. What should they do? Should they go travelling? Should they borrow money? Should they even go to university and rack up £30,000 worth of debt?
Well, I mean, if they're students, they already have.
But he's good, isn't he?
Actually, it's not just about not being able to find a job when you're a student. There's actually been some research done into this, and the problem is you do something else, maybe you do a job you didn't really want to do, or you take some time out, then you start building up skills, you start building up contacts in a profession you never wanted. So the economists who've looked at this have found if you graduate during a recession or you leave school during a recession trying to get a job, it's not just for 6 months or a year or 2 years, it can be up to 10 years that actually affects us. So I reckon, you know, students should probably learn Chinese. China's doing well.
OK, that seems like a good tip.
Yeah.
Learn Chinese.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems a little bit like surrendering, but OK. Yeah. Now, in terms of the other thing that's in the news every day, and it's sort of getting boring to listen to, they keep on talking about paying off the deficit by 2014, and we've got to make these cuts to pay off this deficit.
Yeah.
Why are we so obsessed by this? It sounds like a mortgage. Can we not just take a payment holiday?
Yeah, that would be nice if it was like a mortgage. The great thing about a mortgage is you pay it off gradually, and at the end, it's gone. The deficit isn't actually an amount of money that we owe. The deficit...
Well, this is good news.
No, it sadly isn't.
What is it?
The deficit is the amount of money that we're borrowing and adding to the amount of money we already owe. So it's the amount of new money we're borrowing every year. And it's quite a lot. It's 150 billion pounds.
150...
Billion.
150 billion.
With a B, which is about £2,500 per person. That includes all the sort of the under 5s and the over 70s, and so £2,500 per person of new money that the government's borrowing on our behalf. That's the deficit.
Right, and we should pay that back.
Well, we don't...
Who do we owe it to? Is it the banks? Because they can fuck off. Is that fair?
We kind of own the banks now, so no, we sometimes...
What, we owe it to ourselves?
Well, or to foreigners. We owe it to ourselves or to foreigners, so it's...
OK, well, we're going to have to leave it there. I hope you'll come back and talk to us again. Tim Harford, everyone.